Hey, welcome to your virtual pamphlet. My name is Rob, and I'm the host of this one-man show. Or should I say, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jojo Siwa. That was that was definitely unscripted, and definitely unwarranted. But you can tell that from my enthusiasm, we're going to talk about Jojo Siwa today. But before we get into that, um, I'm insane. We need to address a couple of things. First of all, this episode is coming back. It's coming back. It's coming out on like a Tuesday, which is crazy because, well, I've been back for a week now already, but I had craziest and busiest weekend ever, and I couldn't write notes. I couldn't do shit. I couldn't record. I didn't have literally time to do anything. But I am making the episode now, and I'm publishing it today, which is gonna be like a bit later than usual. But y'all gonna have to put up with it, because I haven't had one episode in what, like a week or something. Well, yeah, last week there was no episode because I was in Italy the week prior, so I couldn't do anything there. But yes, we're getting back to it, and y'all need to give me time. You need to give me time. Life is busy. Work is busy. I've had multiple things to do as well as outside of work. So yeah, just but don't worry. We'll try and stick to the schedule. And for sure, you can expect an episode next Monday because I will be, thank you very much, recording an episode about the Torture Poets Department, which is coming out this Friday the 19th. So yeah, that's the new Taylor Swift album. I'll be probably doing what I did for the Beyonce album. I'll do like a first reaction, first thoughts on the album and what are my favorites, lyrical like themes that I could pick up on my first listen and all that stuff. But anyways, and second of all, I just wanted to say like that since I'm getting very, very busy with work and all that stuff, I might start also pulling back a bit the amount of like time that I record stuff. I don't know, because I still talk so much, and sometimes it's difficult to like write notes throughout my week about different topics. So I'll try and stick to one topic per week actually. So that's that's going to be my main theme going forward. But I'll still be doing, of course, the songs of the week, which are coming right now, and then I'll just get into one of the stories, just one, which is of course today's madness is Jojo Siwa. So yes, Jojo Siwa, and I don't know if you guys knew about this, but she was a bad girl and she did some bad things, and oh boy, she's doing worse things now than she did before, I guess. But we'll get into that. We'll get into her story and all that, and like her current quote unquote reinvention, which to me is like non-existent, and all of the insanity that she's been talking about her inventing gay pop and inventing like a rebranding moment, and like then talking about her biggest inspirations being like Michael Jackson and all that stuff. It's like we'll get to that. But first, songs of the week. So since it's been quite a while since I had an episode, I have quite a few, but I'll try and keep it short and sweet. I think I already managed to talk about Magnetic last episode, right? So I can start getting into Sheesh. Sheesh is the technically official debut of Baby Monster, which is the newest, freshest, fifth gen girl group from YG. YG is the same company that basically produced Blackpink. And so yeah, I've already talked about Batter Up back when it came out in October or something, I think, and I was so impressed with it. And I don't care about like all the comments that they've been receiving that they're copying the Blackpink sound, which is false because that's the YG sound, that's the label sound. Y'all need to get your facts straight. But I am very much impressed also by this other release. It's like still very YG, still very much screaming like YG girl group, but it's also it has some elements of novelty, I guess, First of all, Sheesh is very like Well, I love the sheesh chorus, like sheesh, 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 sheesh. I'm like, that's the stupidest chorus ever, but it's like it gets stuck in your head, and it's just so effective. Typical YG chorus, very much like, little earworm that like gets into your brain, and you cannot get out of it. You cannot get it out. So yeah, that's an incredible track. It has a lot of like interesting elements. It's very much like has a creepy theme to it. Like it's almost I don't want to say horror adjacent, but like it has a creepy feeling to it. And if you watch the music video, it's also very much like set up in a sort of like a church situation, and like there's a lot of like very interesting symbolisms related to like horror movies and all that stuff, haunted mansions and all of that. Very cool stuff. So there is a lot of like that baroque influence also in the sound. Still very YG, but it's just like incredible, and they all showcase a lot in this song. The rapping part, we have rapping trio here that just like eats it up. There's like sort of like a drill beat in the rap part, which is like so fucking sick and so dirty. So yeah, and then the vocals killing it. My girl Rami, she's just like so fucking talented, and every like single girl in the group is talented. Like they all have incredible skills, and the name, is a perfect of the group is a perfect description of all of the girls. Like they're just very young people, like with an infinite potential, the baby part, and then they're monsters because like they have the skills. They have the damn skills that you cannot find in any of these fifth gen groups, if I have to be honest. I mean, dancing wise, there are a lot of very talented groups, I have to say, but when it comes to vocals and rapping and dancing and the whole package, it's quite hard to find. Like in terms of like especially live vocals, I think most of the fifth gen girl groups are unfortunately lacking. But not Baby Monster. They're literally bringing it there. And the outro as well of this song is just so good. The bass, the flute in the back, that creepy vibe to it is just incredible. My thesis with this is, I also told this to my friends. Um, um, I think YG is trying to like not pioneer, but like he's trying to like find their sound, and I think he's like trying to like serve it to us in a digestible way. So they had multiple elements in the song that are so typical YG, so familiar, like the beat in the chorus and everything else are very much like similar to like other YG tracks, but the verses and the a bit of the outro as well. The outro does sound like a bit like a Blackpink's like shut down, I guess, that sort of influence, but also it has some elements like the flute and the creepy vibe to it that are all like fresh and new. I've not seen from any other group before from YG. So I think they're trying to like slowly serve to us this newer concept for them, which is like honestly very intriguing, and I wonder where they're gonna go with it next. Maybe they will keep on serving it to us like this sort of like creepy vibe, which I would love personally. And plus I think also the success that the other tracks in the album are receiving, especially like that, which is a Charlie Puth song, they might also give YG some incentives to just also give them like a R&B early 2000 type of like R&B track. So yeah, I am very excited. This group is just like has such a bright future. In like 10 days they reached like 100 million views on YouTube. They're literally monster rookies, so they are honestly ready to like serve. So I'm just excited to see what they do next, honestly. Apparently there's an album, like a full album by them that is coming out like in November of this year, so we'll see if that happens. But I would be pumped for that, and hopefully if they do release an album, that means they will probably like start touring soon, so I'll be looking into like seeing them live, of course. Next song is Midas Touch, another K-pop song by Kiss of Life. This is like what also I've been talking about. Midas Touch is like super 2000s. I made a TikTok about this as well, and I compared it to like a mixture of GTA. But listen to me, GTA, like the little that kind of like sound, like kind of like production with Cheetah Girls. Oh my god, Cheetah Girls with Cheetah Girls and Britney Spears. Like imagine a fusion of all these three like early 2000 of sounds. Put them in a pop track, and you get that. And I think there's also like major some major nods to Britney Spears. There's literally some songs in like some lyrics in the song that are like literally go. I think it's like, "Baby, I'm so toxic" or something. There's a scene where Natty, one of the members, she's riding a bike with like a dude in the back, and it's just like so toxic. The video coded. So I think they're definitely drawing inspiration from that. So yeah, I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see this like sort of fresh approach to the song. And honestly, the very small rap verse that is like in the second part of the song, is stuck in my fucking head. Julie from the group, she's just like eating it up. It's just so good. So yeah, I'll put that on to the playlist as well. Then I have B2B by Charlie XCX. She released this track together with Club Classics, and these are two songs from the upcoming album, Brat, I think it's called. Is it called like that? I can't remember. But B2B is just so fucking good. It's such a typical club song and very hyper pop, of course. I'm so pumped for this new Charlie XX era, because she's definitely trying to like lean into like the club sound of it all even more. Like it's still hyper pop to a certain extent, but it's definitely more like club adjacent, like EDM a bit. And like Von Dutch is also a perfect example of that. The first single, like they're all forming a cohesive sound, which I'm really pumped and like honestly very curious about. So yeah, the song is very repetitive, but it's just the production of it all is just incredible in my opinion, and I'll put that as well in the playlist so you guys can check it out. But yeah, that's one. Then I also have Head Eye by Doja Cat. This is like Scarlet to Claude. This is basically the deluxe version of Scarlet, the album. But Head Eye is like R&B track, and it's just so dreamy, beautiful. The vocals are incredible. The production is 180 as usual. Doja knows how to pick great productions, and I still stand by the fact that this album is, unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to talk about it on the podcast, but I think this album is actually very cohesive, and it's very. I can finally see a proper like it is the old Doja for real for real. It is like so artistically motivated, like has a very nice vision. It just gives me OG hip hop albums, honestly, for real. And of course, she puts in a lot of like R&B elements as well, which I am super glad about. So yeah, that will be also in the playlist because that song slaps. So we already have 3 tracks. I'll try and keep it short and sweet. Of course, Forget About Us by Perry. Perry is an ex-member of the group Lil Mix, and this is her debut single as a soloist. Forget About Us is the song of the summer. At least my personal song of the summer. It's just so good. I have some critiques about the song in terms of like the lyrics. I think she could have done more with the bridge. She could have changed some lyrics up, like instead of being repetitive, reading the second verse again. But this song was also written and produced. I don't know if it was also produced, but it was definitely written by Ed Sheeran at first, and he gave it to her, and then she rewrote it a bit, and so yeah, that's where we are. So, but the song is so good. It definitely gives me. I can see people on TikTok have been saying it's a Victorious coded song, and I can definitely see that. It also gives me a lot of Macy Peters energy. And surprise, Macy Peters is Macy is from, if I remember correctly, like Ed Sheeran's label. But anyways, so yeah, this song is incredible. Lyrics are about not wanting your ex to forget about you and about your relationship with them, and like you're both moving on, but you still don't want your ex to forget about you, which is relatable, I guess. But it's just the production is like very Victorious for real, like, but a bit like I can see like why people are saying it's a bit country coded, but I think it's just like, imagine like Taylor Swift country pop song, but like in the Red era a bit, something like that. But if you know Macy Peters, that's the sound, I guess. But it's just that kind of vibe, and it's just so like perfectly made for Perry, because her voice is just wow, man. She's just so talented. She's always been like the main vocalist of the Little Mix group, but she's just so talented. So I'm very happy to see her. Like she also got her song got number one. I think it did reach number one in the charts in the UK. So she's doing great. I'm very happy about it. And yeah, I think I have plenty of other songs, but I will probably leave it at these four. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. I have so many more, but I don't care. I just want to keep it short and sweet. But anyways, now we'll get into the real deal, which is Jojo Siwa. And I want to talk about just in general, like her. I'll probably give like a rundown of her quote unquote career because she's 20 years old, but I'm gonna have to go through some of the major events there because yeah, because I need to connect to the apparent rebrand that she's doing. Um, and also giving you my thoughts on what is going on with her. Why is she doing this? Is she trolling? Is she not trolling? Does she think she's actually the shit or not? Is she being disrespectful? What is she doing? So yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, first a little bit of a break. I'll catch you in literally like 5 seconds, basically. And yeah, as promised, here we are. Um, it's time to talk about something real, something that has been like taking the internet by a storm. Like it's probably one of the latest obsessions, and it's not dying out anytime soon because I think there are so many players involved and so many like I guess like clickbaity situations involved in all this, and like trolling and the aspect of like Jojo being a meme herself, to be fair, and just making a fool of herself multiple times. I think there's just so much going on with this situation that I just need to talk about it. I just need to. And I think the best place to start first is to like explain who Jojo Siwa is for those of you who may not know, who may be living under a rock or something. Because if you don't know who Jojo Siwa is, then you have probably been outside of the internet culture and the YouTube culture for a while, or you're just born in the year 2016 or something. Like you must be a fetus. But anyways, Joannie Jojo Siwa. She was born in May 19th, 2003. Holy shit, she was born 2 days after me. Well, and well, also 3 years after me, but anyways, she is a well, I guess the best way to describe her, well, at first she was mostly a dancer who then became an internet personality, an influencer of some sort. She's not really an influencer, to be fair, but she's more like an internet personality. And she also eventually dabbled in some music. So she can be, I guess, said to be a singer as well, even though I would not want to give that to her, but she is. She is. She has some hits. She has some hits that are not good songs, but they have plenty of views on YouTube. But anyways, the way she popped out, basically the way she like came on the scene was honestly very, I would say like interesting. I don't know. Not many people go through this sort of like it's already extreme to be like a child star, but this sort of child star type of child star is like completely different. I think it's like an even more exploited version of it. So she first basically was on the radar when she went on this dance competition show called Ultimate Dance Competition. Actually, I think it's like the proper name is Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition. Abby is Abby Lee Miller, who is also going to be the producer of Dance Moms, where Jojo is going to appear next. But first, she appeared in Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, and she was the youngest contestant there. I think she was 10 when she appeared there. She was super young. And this was, of course, still already like backed up by her mom, Jesselyn, who is even to this day her manager. So yeah, so Jojo's mom's figure is going to be very important in general in this discussion, but because she's the one who's been basically molding this child into a like an internet personality since the beginning. And also very interesting to note that her mom was also a professional dance instructor, so there's always a bit of a connection there of also maybe her, you know, her wanting to just push her daughter into the same industry, and just, you know, creating a child star, which is like honestly one of the worst. Like if your parents allow you to go to do these things at such a young age, that, and especially into these like sort of very exploitative industries and like programs, then I'm sorry, but your mom is a monster, and I cannot really defend anyone here. But her, I think the most culpable person in this whole situation, in the way just like Jojo came out to be in that sense, is probably her mom. But anyways, so like in 2014, she auditioned to get into Dance Moms with the same producer, Abby Lee Miller, another very important figure in this discussion. But and then she of course appeared in the team early 2015. So it's no secret that Abby Lee Miller on the show mistreated and basically exploited and just emotionally manipulated and abused all of the girls, the very young girls. Jojo was 12, I think, when she started. Yeah, when she started the season with Dance Moms, and multiple dancers from that series, because it was multiple seasons, complained and basically were interviewed and like reported that they were abused, and there was a lot of like especially emotional manipulation, and they were all kids who were basically promised this like huge stardom, like, you know, fame out of nowhere, and just like they were made to compete between them, and seeing also their moms also compete between them, which is like super toxic and crazy, honestly, to like honestly impart these behaviors into young children like that. But I'm not surprised that Jojo just like is this sort of like very odd being, honestly. Like it's very out of touch and crazy person, you know. But yeah, she definitely is probably one of the biggest stars that came out of the show, and I would say not well, definitely that the show put her on the map, but it's mostly because of what she did, how she like turned that exposure into basically then her legacy and all of her other projects. So she started off a YouTube channel. She amassed so many subscribers. I think she has how many? Like, is it 11 million or something? I think it's like, let me just search it up for y'all. 12 million, 12 million subscribers. So yeah, then she had a signature look that helped her, you know, be marketable. The high ponytail, and just very like obnoxious way of dressing, honestly, like super colorful and super like gimmicky, and it's just crazy. She looked like a cartoon character, honestly, and even the way she spoke, and to be fair, she still speaks to this day, is very much like forced and like cartoonish. It's just weird as fuck. But yeah, so she made a fortune out of YouTube as well, and then she started putting out music, of course, like Kids Bop and all that shit for literally kids. But yeah, but she started off as a dancer, and she's very. I will give it to her. She's a very talented dancer, and she's a girl who put in a lot of work. But unfortunately, is specifically because she has been brought up this way, that she is sort of out of touch with reality, and like she was put through these like survival competitions at such an early age, where she couldn't basically even comprehend normal, in my opinion, normal social interactions. She didn't go to school. Actually doesn't have any education, to be fair. So she's quite, you know, the only thing she's known is competition and like emotional abuse and all that. So how do you expect this person to bloom, I guess, into like a normal human being? She can't. She can't. So yeah. So basically, she's been doing all this for years and years and years, and this year, 2024, she released a newer song after so many of them with the promise of a big rebranding. But her rebranding technically already started to happen a couple of years prior. I think it was 2021 or 2022 when she announced for the first time that she was. Well, I don't know if she's lesbian or not, but she's definitely queer. She's part of the LGBT community, but yes. So that in that at that time she got a lot of positive press, a lot of support from general public because it is a big move, to be fair. And I mean, people, I remember the chatter at the time saying like that people always knew about it and they were like actually waiting for her to like just say it. But honestly, like she's a child, so I'm actually quite surprised that she had this conversation with everyone like so early on, basically. um but yeah, so she honestly uh, started getting a lot of positive pressure, positive coverage on the media. But I think quickly, like the whole thing was quickly then swept under the rug in a way, because then we forgot about her for a while. But yeah, then in 2024 she started like teasing this new era for her coming in. She was trying to ditch her old image of like this bubbly, cartoonish sort of character for a more for a darker, I guess, image. And she started teasing this new song called Karma, which actually then came out on April 5th. And so the promo for this was insane. I think like the promo it was mostly like a TikTok, multiple TikToks every single fucking day. You could not escape it. If you just liked one of her videos, and you would start seeing so many fucking TikToks that she put out of her dancing, of her prepping up, of her taking the looks in the video and all that shit. And the overall product, like the product itself that was sold to us, was just so low quality. And to be quite frank, I think it's still at its core like Jojo Siwa. I don't see such a flip into like the bad girl aesthetic that she claims to chime into. I think it's just like yes, it is darker. She's wearing darker, like a weird, like different makeup, but the costumes are still very gimmicky. They still look cartoonish to me personally. She still looks sort of like she's definitely not the same, like dressing the same way, but it's still I don't know, oddly the same kind of vibe. And the only difference that she's like saying Karma is a bitch. I should have known better. She's talking about her relationships in her song and like how she loves girls and all that stuff. And just like maybe the shock value is just her kissing girls in a video, but girl, we've been known. But the major problem is that like if she just like did the video and the song and whatever, everyone would probably not have cared about it. But it's the mere fact that one, the every single aspect of this like release was just memeable. Basically, it was just like either a clickbaity sort of situation or like a just straight up like something you would laugh at, basically, from the choreo, like the neck breaking fucking choreo, or the for example the looks that were honestly so low quality that everyone started making fun of them. Her photos were just weird as fuck. She looked like a fucking sea monster, just weird. Or I don't know, the awkward how to say, acting in the video itself, or the song itself, to be quite frank, the lyrics of the song, or the way she sings. Every single aspect of the product that was sold to us was just memeable and just laughed at, basically. And I think it's like when it's that bad, like when every single aspect is done like that, like it comes off like that. I personally think that it just was done on purpose because there's no fucking way an entire team behind this was like, yes, approve all of these. All of these are like perfectly marketable and they're just the right, they're serious. People were going to take you seriously. Go in interviews, say these things, and everyone will take you seriously. No, like if that's the case, then I'm like I've lost all hope in humanity, honestly. But like he should fire the team and just find a new one. But I don't think that was the point. I think the point was to actually like just like create this like clickbaity and like this memeable sort of release that everyone was going to tune into, because frankly no one would have cared if you just like went for a normal just switch in her looks and everything else, like she wanted to create a spectacle of herself, maybe with some like she chose the bad press route because everything else was not going to be feasible for her, also because she doesn't have the skills of a singer. She's not talented in that department, so she just went for that to just get a big buck, in my opinion. Maybe eventually she will be able to transition into like a real pop, like pop girl situation, but this was definitely like a joke. In my opinion, this was a joke. This was a big fat joke, and we all felt right into it because everyone is tuned in terms of like we're giving her streams, we're giving her views, we're giving her all of it, and yeah. But what's more interesting to me is the way she tries to position herself into the music scene. So she went on multiple interviews, still again, in my opinion, a bit in a like memeable situation, but also completely out of touch, saying that she's trying to reinvent herself, like a la Miley Cyrus, basically, with bangers, or like I don't know. She was talking about like how she was inspired by Prince, by Michael Jackson, by Elvis, by Elton John, and all these people. I'm like, girl, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, where is the influence in your music, in your song? Maybe you tried to copy the same move or like the same like direction, but you didn't do it. Like, you didn't do it. You actually, it was such a low effort with low skill, to have to say. Like the choreo, sure, she's talented as fuck, but like the music is just trash. Then there was a huge debacle when it comes to like the actual song itself. It turns out it was actually a song that first was supposed to be Miley Cyrus's, and then also I think it was then it was supposed to actually was sold to Brit Smith or something. What was her name? I don't know, but and then the song by that artist never got released, and then she apparently, I guess, bought it or whatever. But then when she was asked about it, Jojo said like she doesn't even know about this girl and all that stuff, and so this girl Brit decided to release her version, and now there's like a fight between the girls and all that stuff, and it's just like, oh my god. But the original track, the demo that was recorded by Brit Smith or whatever her name is, watch me not like actually referring to the right person, but I'm 100% sure her name is Brit, but the original version by that girl is like 10 times better than JoJo's, because actually that girl can actually sing. She can actually, sing properly, and the vibe of the song is a bit more like early 2000, and it's just more interesting in that sense. But yeah, you can also tell like the lyrics are still cringe, in my opinion. Like, Karma's a bitch, I should have known better. If I had a wish, I would have never messed around, all that stuff. Like, okay, sure, whatever. But it's just like this. It tells you a lot about how like a voice, like a performance, can change the quality of a song. So yeah. But yeah, JoJo basically, I think, partly is doing this upon like her like her team's of course suggestions in a way, but also I think she genuinely believes she's the shit. She's doing that. She's doing all this because, frankly, she's not part of the rest of the world. She's never been part of the world. She's never like actually consumed so probably like normal social media or something, or I don't think she's ever like been in touch with reality at all, because she would have known that this is not the way to go if you really want to like. She said like she invented gay pop in one of the interviews, like, girl, who are you kidding? And then she rephrased it later on, saying like, no, I'm like the new spearheader of like the gay pop movement and all that stuff. Like, no, you're not either, because there's plenty of very talented queer musicians, and people who are doing incredible hyperpop music as well these days. So you're definitely none of that. Thank you very much. But I'm sorry to drag her through the mud, but it's just the truth. There's nothing original about her video, nothing original about her song, nothing original about her performance. It's just plain memeable content, basically, to me, like a clickbaity sort of situation. And many people said like she also released all of this to just stir away the attention from another controversy that she was in. And this controversy is actually quite bad and just gives you more insight into her psyche in a way. So right before releasing like the first few snippets of the song and like all that stuff, and like teasing this new era, she was actually caught in a very big storm. So right after wrapping up all the like dance mom situations, like YouTube channel and all that, like she decided to her and her mom actually together, they decided to like embark on this journey that was a complete failure. They decided to I guess like reintroduce this genre of survival shows, I guess, and find some very young girls to join this series on YouTube, and ultimately to form a baby group, basically like a baby girl group just for dancing, basically, right? So it's like a repurposing of Dance Moms, but done by Jojo and her mom now, which is wild to me. So what she did was she used her previous YouTube channel and turned it into this this baby group's channel called XOMG Pop, and the show was not really, followed by anyone, to be fair. It was a kind of a flop. But what's even worse was that stories by the contestants came out later on through also Rolling Stone and all that the girls were actually also mistreated and made fun of. And some girls had also some disabilities, and they were made fun of by both Jojo, mostly by her mom, but also Jojo was quite, I guess, involved in a situation. She seemed to be also very harsh and very emotionally abusive towards the little girls. So to me, it screams mostly as her basically trying to repurpose her own trauma, right? So it sounds very familiar, right? So she was definitely like a victim of an emotional abuse with Dance Moms, with Abby Lee Miller, and probably her mom as well. And so what she decides to do, instead of like going to therapy and like discovering empathy and all that shit, or doing some shrooms, do something that actually makes you a bad girl, for real, girl. Go to therapy and have a blunt and like a joint with your therapist or something. Do something like that. But no, she decided to like recreate her own, traumatic environment, I guess, and like this time around being the position of the perpetrator, right? Which is like honestly what happens very often in psychology. Like sometimes victims of abuse try to like re-enter the abuse, but in the point of like in the, I guess, like as the abuser, basically, right? So it's not really surprising to me that this happened, but it really tells you a lot about like how her psyche works. Like she was not brought up in a normal environment. She's used to the abuse and to like abnormal basically relationships that she just like craves. She just lives with. She thinks that those are normal, right? That to her, normal human interactions are like that. And also tells you a lot about how like how she got into like so many weird friendships, like for example Colleen Ballinger or James Charles. Like she specifically is friends with like the worst people ever on the internet. And also weirdly enough, she became friends with these people when she was still very young, so she had adult friends when she was quite young. And it's so fucking weird to me. It's just so unnatural and like against, you know, normal social interactions, honestly, and social bonds in that sense. Um, and it's just funny that both of these people, like James Charles and Colleen, are both also some sort of like some type of abusers and like, you know, abusive people in that sense. Especially Colleen, which is so weird. Like there's also like plenty of videos of Jojo being super young and Colleen making very weird jokes, sexual jokes to with her and to her basically. So yeah, it's just like, you know, quite weird. So I wouldn't expect anything from Jojo in that sense. So I wasn't really surprised to see her like doing the same shit over again, like just making like becoming a meme version, like, you know, selling a meme basically once again, because that's what she's been her whole life. But part of me is thinking that maybe her, like Jojo herself, is not realizing what it is about, but her team definitely does. Her team does know that she sells the most when she's like memeable and like made fun of in that sense. But I think Jojo herself, she's more like out of touch and just like not a normal person at all. And I've seen some people, I think also Quinn Blackwell, like she just talked about it. It's like this one YouTuber. She's super famous as well. She was from Vine and all that stuff. But she reacted to some of the recent videos about her, and she did say something very like interesting, like to me, that basically many people, many famous people, all have the same issue. That is basically when they become famous, like when they get their breakout role or like their breakout moment, then they stay mentally in that age forever. Like they are forced to stay in that mental age forever, even though like their body of course ages. So for Jojo, when she became famous at 12 through Dance Moms or like YouTube or whatever it is, she unfortunately stuck herself basically into that mindset forever. So that's quite sad actually. But if you think about it, it's actually the same thing. Because for example, there's plenty of videos even of her just, you know, just having mental breakdowns. It's just like talking still in the same voice, or just saying the most out of pocket shit that just screams child behavior basically to me. And she's 20 now. She's 20 years old. So yeah, like what the fuck? But I think she's like approaching 21 actually. So she's definitely an adult. Like she actually drives cars, and all of her cars are like like they printed basically her faces on her cars. Like what in the world is going on? It's just weird shit. Like this is like taking the being famous of it all to another new level. But either way, this is like just one of the most entertaining things on the internet right now. Is just like so many people reacting to like the cringe content that she's putting out. And I'm having fun, I'm having a giggle, but I'm also almost ready. I'm reaching that point where I'm like, you know, when is this gonna be like enough? Like just, you know what, can we just forget about her once more? Let's just like, you know, close this chapter and maybe send someone to help her out, you know? I would hate to see her like in 10 years come to these realizations and just, you know, have a mental breakdown and like get into the Britney Spears pipeline of it all. I would hate to see that. I hope that she gets out of it, and I hope her mom stops being her manager, because I think most of the problems stem from that. Like she's probably one of the biggest victims of her mom, so she needs to just get out of there, you know. But apart from that, have a great week, guys. This is the end of the episode, I guess. But yeah, as I said, stay tuned for next week's episode. I'm going to be talking about the Torture Poise Department, which is coming out, as I said, on Friday. I'm very excited for this album, and I'm very excited that the Taylor Swift mania is definitely well, I would say maybe it has definitely subsided in a way. I think people are definitely not rallying up her like the overall like Eras Tour experience anymore. Like it's definitely more subdued now, which is great because now we're back to the mostly fans enjoying the music and just less of the social media shenanigans and like the press and all that stuff. I am very glad to be back into the somewhat smaller, even though it's like quite big still. But the fandom is definitely like back to its origins somehow, in a way, like not really the same, but it's definitely more subsided in a way, more subdued. So yes, stay tuned for next week episode. But yes, take it easy and honestly, just let's survive this like terrible month together. April is just like giving me the worst whiplash ever. It's just like going hot, cold, shit, and I just need it to be warm for good. So yeah. Anyways, bye. Have a great one. Yeah.